Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly as part of our Roadmap to Recovery series. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Richard Fain and Jason Liberty. Now, Richard is, or has been a long time, the CEO and chairman of Royal Caribbean, but it was announced just this week that he will be stepping back from that role, and that Jason, who is the chief financial officer, but is going to be taking up the reins. So we're delighted you could both join us today, gentlemen. Richard,
thanks, Lucy. Good to see you.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, it's really good to see you both. Richard, let's start with you, because I think, it came as a little bit of a surprise when the news broke, but you talked about it being the right time. Tell us why now is the right time for you to take that little step back.
Well, after 33 years, it's kind of hard to decide what is the right time, but the stars just seem to align. We have, we're coming out of the pandemic, and we're not out of it, but the pathway forward is clear, and we're established on how we're going to get there. We're about to start the next phase of our growth, and I'm very excited about that, but I think that's the time to turn it over to somebody to take us to the next level. And, I was asked that earlier, and I made the comment, it's a little bit like when I went dating. And my wife and I dated for 3 years before we decided, or before we got married. But if you ask me when that actual moment was when we made that decision, I know it was sometime a little more than 52 years ago, less than 53, but not exactly sure when. And I think the same thing's here too. It kind of grew on us, and having a successor that I had such confidence in, like Jason, that I had worked together for 16 of my 33 years, the stars were aligned. This was the right time.
All right. Well, we want to talk about all the things you did in those 33 years. We're not going to let you get away with that. We're going to have a little sort of look back at that. But let's just say hi to you, Jason, because as Richard says, you've been at the company a long while. You've worked together, but you haven't had this sort of big, sort of front-facing role. So how does it feel to be filling Richard's shoes?
Well, first of all, I'm very excited to take on the reins of the CEO title here in early January. I'm excited. I feel very well prepared. While I think there's always been a lot of focus on the CFO side of things in terms externally, over time I've had the opportunity to also manage many of our brands. Many of our brands report to me today. A lot of our shared operations reports to me today. So Richard and the board, as well as my peers, have done a lot to prepare me for this opportunity. So I'm very excited about it. And as Richard said, we've had over 16 wonderful years together. I've been his right hand for really almost that entire time. So it's a real exciting opportunity for all of us.
Not sure which of us is happier today. So happy to go forward.
Well, I imagine you've had some rather lovely messages, Richard. I've seen so much all over. There's so much people talking about you being this visionary and how all the innovation that you've brought. And obviously, I've been reporting on cruise for 23 years, and you've always been at the forefront ever since I've been covering it. So before we move on to Jason's vision and how he's going to take things forward, let's just quickly look back at what you would see as being some of your biggest achievements.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say that. I've just been incredibly lucky over this period. I mean, you've heard me say this before, Lucy. I have the best job in the world. And now Jason will take that on. And I actually envy him that looking forward. But when I look at 33 years, and obviously there are some high points and there are some low points, but it's not the things that matter. It's really, to me, it's the people here. And Royal Caribbean has been an amazing group of people. We have, every day I come to work and I get challenged. And if I were looking back, I'm not going to say, well, that ship was really spectacular, or I really enjoyed that kind of program or that kind of relationship, but it was really the people. And And, you know, I'm just thrilled. I'm leading an organization of people that really care about what they do. You know how passionate we are. And when we put that passion to it, nothing stops the people at Royal Caribbean. And Jason's just going to be leading such a team of people who feel so strongly, but also the people that support us. You know, the people in the destinations we have great relations with. Our relations with our finance people are second to none, which is how we were able to get through the pandemic, but also our relations with the travel advisor community. That's been so powerful over this period. And of course, in the recent period, we've seen them really suffering. And so I'm really hoping we're getting back to a time where they won't have to suffer so much, and neither will we. But those relationships, the people, the energy and the passion are just thrilling to me, and probably what I would focus on most.
All right. And I know, Jason, you were, you know, Richard talked there about your relationship with finance people, and you talked about how you're coming out of the pandemic and you're going into your next growth phase, hopefully. And obviously key to that has been making sure the company has weathered the storm and is financed well to push forward. And you've been really involved in ensuring that's the case, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, just like myself and all my colleagues, right, you know, going through this pandemic was as I've heard Richard say before, we were never prepared for an environment where we were generating no revenue. But, you know, it really shows what really helped us through this pandemic more than anything else is that we look at all of our different stakeholders as partners. And that helped us develop the best brands in the world and the best you know, ships in the world and have the best people in the world. The combination of that really allowed us to raise the capital we needed to raise during this period of time to get to the place we are today. We're in a very strong financial position. Very excited to see how our business is now ramping up, and very much that's off the help of the incredible travel advisors that are helping us get there. But it's been a journey. I think we're happy to be, we're not totally out of it, but we're certainly towards the very tail end of it. And I think we're all very excited about what the future brings.
Okay, so under your leadership, Jason, are you gonna continue? I mean, Richard was known, wasn't he, for you love the shipbuilding, you love the innovation, you were absolutely known for that. Are you going to continue in that vein, or what's going to be the thing you bring to this role? What's your style? What's your vision, Jason?
Yeah, well, I sometimes think like I'm like this hidden secret inside, at least externally, because I share a lot of these very similar passions to Richard. We all have roles we play inside the organization, but on the new building side, I have very much been at the hip with Richard on the innovation and the growth of our fleet, and it's and all of our brand leaders. I mean, just how we bring that experience to life is really incredible. I think it's very natural to ask what will be different, and of course, change is the ultimate constant, right? Things are always changing, and our strategies are always evolving as the world evolves, as our customers evolve, as our partners evolve. And we will continue as our big mantra of continuous improvement, right? We're always going to get better, and things are always going to change. But what doesn't change is our roots, like what we're rooted in, which is our values, our culture. That really centers around the customer, centers around innovation and dreaming, continuous improvement, very value-driven organization, and we perform and we deliver the best vacations in the world. So I think while change is always occurring, what's not changing is our focus and our strategy and our pursuit to be great partners and deliver the best vacations on the planet.
Yeah, I think I would just amplify that, because there's always a temptation. Look, we've been very successful, and I've had a lot of supporters throughout, which is very gratifying. And so there's a little bit of a temptation to say, oh my God, it's worked so well. Is Jason going to change that? And he's not going to, and you say he's not going to. Well, no. I think the reason that Royal Caribbean Group has been so successful has been because we're constantly changing, and we've been constantly changing. And I'd be very disappointed if Jason, and very shocked if Jason didn't make his own change and put his own stamp on this going forward. That's what the new CEO does, and I'm desperately looking forward to that.
So knowing what you know of Jason, because Jason's probably being too modest at the moment to say, but knowing what you know of Jason, and I know you've been quoted as saying that, you know, he's a brilliant leader and superbly qualified, really principled, which I know is something that chimes with you. But knowing what you know of Jason then, Jason, you're just going to have to close your ears while he says something nice about you. But, you know, what do you think Jason will bring to the role?
Oh, I think Jason will bring the passion, the solidly based in the foundations of what makes the business great, which includes the culture of the company, includes the passion for innovation, for use of the imagination. He works well with people, so I think he'll take it in new directions. And that's what innovation is all about. And I think that is so powerful. But at the same time, we are founded here on our value system. That's been a hallmark of Royal Caribbean for so many years. And whether that is sustainability or equity or whatever the subject is, and it's something he feels very passionate about. And I think you do well when you care about something. And I think the people at Royal Caribbean care, and I think Jason epitomizes that.
All right. Well, we will look forward to that. It sounds fantastic. But Richard, you're not going to kick back now, are you, and do nothing with the group? You're still going to be involved in the ship construction program. And of course, you've got some vessels still, you know, we know about the Icon class. You've still got the Edge series coming. You've got new ships for Silver Sea. So there's a lot going on. And then are you still going to be designed beyond that?
So there's a lot going on. The other thing is, you know, I've been very active in my civic and community activities, and I really love that. And I love making a difference there as well. And frankly, that involvement has grown over the last number of years. And I have felt really badly that I have not been able to put the effort into it. And I'm not the kind of guy that goes into something halfway. So the opportunity to do that right is, to me, thrilling. And of course, it's not totally lost to me that I now have 8 extraordinary grandchildren. Who would have imagined that all 8 of my grandchildren would be extraordinary? But a careful and independent review says every single one of them is exceptional. So I'm looking forward to spending more time with them. But I have a lot of activities in the community. And as you say, I'll still keep a toe in the water here. And yes, we have not talked much about the new ships that we have coming, but they are, I think the market is going to be thrilled when we start revealing the details. Which won't be that far from now. You know, these
what
ships.
About now? What about now, Richard? Why not make this your parting gift? Give us
in 33 years, I've resisted your attempts to get that from me in the past, so I'm not going to start changing my stripes now.
All right, okay, but
good try.
One of the things you've always been passionate. I mean, obviously the ships I know, but the excitement around Perfect Day and the sort of land program. I mean, that's something that obviously has been a bit on hold because we were due to come out and see Perfect Day ages ago now, and we haven't had a chance to do that yet, but that's obviously back, you know, getting back up and running now. And that, I know, is something you wanted to expand and grow to further islands and further concepts. Is that something that you can tell us any more about, Jason, maybe?
Yeah, well, for sure. You know, obviously today we have Perfect Day kind of fully operationalized, and it's delivering incredible experiences each and every day. And it's an incredible asset, as it's a true extension of this wonderful Royal Caribbean International product that we have. We have plans and intents, and we've taken actions here over time to expand that portfolio of Perfect Day and other concepts on enhancing the overall guest experience when they're on shore. So you will continue to see, as we are growing our fleet, we've got 13 ships on order, but you will continue to see us expanding our destination footprint. As one, we think it's a great opportunity to enhance the experience, and it's also a great overall opportunity for us to expand our top line performance for the company.
You know, Lucy, remember, Jason has been overseeing our strategic planning for 13 of his years here. So he's very much involved in all these things. And one of the things that we've emphasized as a company is that we're no longer looking at the experience as simply a shipboard activity. The experience now is much broader than that. It includes the things that we're doing on land. It includes issues of sustainability. It includes our technology investments. Technology is probably something you'll see a lot of in coming years, because while we did some pausing during the pandemic, we've geared it back up and moving quickly ahead. I think our systems today are the best in the industry, but our industry isn't where it should be. And so I think based on the past and based on the investments that we've already made, you're going to see in the coming months and years a lot more in general outside the confines of the ship. And you mentioned Perfect Day because that's one of the more visible ones, but it's all of these things. And I think that's important. I think that's what people expect today.
Okay. All right. Now, look, we're obviously being watched today by people in the UK travel industry. And I know the UK has been really important to you. And of course, since the pandemic, we've got more ships being deployed in Europe from your brand and, out of the UK as well. So I don't know whether either of you or both of you want to just comment on the UK market and how trading is going from the UK. Is it picking up well for you? And do you see it as being a big part of your future plans?
Well, I think first, as it relates to the UK, it's our second largest market. We commented a few weeks ago on our earnings call that both the US and the UK market are now booking at levels that are similar to 2019. So we're very excited about that. And what's driving that, besides the incredible efforts of our sales and marketing teams in the UK, it's our great travel partners that are helping drive that demand. And so we're very excited. And we have, it's been a long-term market for us. We have a lot of growth ambitions still for the UK, and we think it's an incredible market. So I think, the answer is all around, we're excited for all of our brands as a source market, as a destination market, and we're really pleased to see what's been happening here over the past 30 to 60 days.
Well, we can extend an invite to you, Jason. We want you to come over here and meet all the UK partners, and we'd love to host you and introduce you to some of them. I'm sure actually already, but.
And that's one of the things that's happening now. The UK, of course, is today. We're going through these cycles where the COVID gets worse and better and worse again. But those are bumps in the road, and I think we see it that way. And I think one of the issues for us on both sides of the pond is the getting the travel advisor community back up. They've all suffered so much during the period, and we had such tremendous response from the UK and Ireland before the pandemic. And I think we see it building back up, and we're looking forward to that because that's always been key to our success. And I think we need it again. We are seeing more people booking online because that's what people got used to during the pandemic. And I think, but what we're not seeing is the growth that the travel advisors generated. And we really need that.
Sorry, Richard, can I just pick up on that? You're saying you're seeing more people booking online direct with you rather than through a travel advisor, because we're finding there's a lot of evidence that people have been a bit, nervous and are now looking for the reassurance of a travel advisor who can give them that expertise. So but you're seeing in the States that people are just booking online?
Well, not just booking online. And by the way, that's always been what's so special about the travel advisor community, because people, especially people who haven't cruised before, but not only people who are new to cruise, really need the assurance. They need somebody to say, yeah, this is what you should do. And somebody who can say, yes, and this is for you, and not, maybe this is not so much for you. And you don't get that on the web. But people are booking more on the web. We think there's untapped demand, and we really need the travel advisor community to blossom now and to fill that gap, because that gap is a big one. And we think there's great opportunity, and we would love to see more of it. And I think what's happening, we're seeing it happen. You know, we all cut back during the pandemic, and now we have to, hiring people is a problem, getting systems going, getting everything, getting the wheels turning again is not so easy. But I think it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us.
Yeah, and Lucy, if I could just jump in, I think just to help frame it a little bit more is, I think what we've just seen is we've seen an elevated level of online booking activity. And intuitively, if you think about it, during the pandemic, a lot of people who were not very comfortable with commerce online became more comfortable with commerce online. And so I think that has driven it. And I also think for the trade and some of the online trade advisors, they've seen that uplift as well. And I think that's a little bit of a natural progression, but we still are seeing really substantial volumes, still not to the levels that we saw pre-pandemic, but still substantial volumes coming out of the trade. Again, as they build up their capabilities, that they lost some of that, as we all did, during the pandemic.
Okay, all right, good. And then you mentioned there, you just said that you're seeing some booking levels getting back to 2019 levels, which is great to see. But I guess I want to ask you, do you think that we are going to return to normal? Or do you think this whole global health crisis has changed cruising forever? And if so, in what ways? And in many ways, is it for the better? Are we seeing some things that are better going forward?
Well, I think so. I'll start off, but I think some of the data you see is what you saw during the pandemic is people shifted from like this incredible trajectory of experience to they started buying stuff again. And now you're starting to see things rise again to them focusing on buying experiences. Yeah. So I very much believe that we will return to a very normal state here relatively soon, as global travel begins to thaw out, which is what's happening. And some of these latest travel restrictions that have been lifted will help towards that cause. So it's not going to be 30 days from now, but I do think as we get into 2022 and 2023, cruising will be very similar to what it was. And I think it'll be very identical to what it was pre-pandemic. And that's, obviously we're investing significantly in that with 13 more ships coming on. We think that there's ample demand globally for cruising, and we're very excited about that.
And are there any things that have changed in the last 18, 20 months or so, though, that you think will remain, like processes or like the whole thing around health and safety? Or do you think there's some stuff that won't return to normal and that will be changed going forward?
So I think one of the nice things is, if you think back a year and a half ago, people saying, well, what's going to be the new normal? Well, the new normal is going to be the old normal, which of course was never static anyhow, and it would have changed. But we've put in place a lot of protocols, but essentially, and I've just come off of an inaugural cruise of the Celebrity Apex, and I'm just going on board one of Odyssey of the Seas, two of our inaugural, so we're stepping back into that function. The comment that everybody made to me on the cruise was just how normal it was. Okay. There was almost nothing you saw in terms of protocols. And there's a lot behind the scenes. So we've done a lot with filtration systems, and the medical center has more equipment in it. And the food service is now more by the wait staff rather than you getting yourself. But essentially, the cruise just feels absolutely normal. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's where we're getting back to. And I think we're getting back there very quickly.
Well, and I'll just add, besides for the feel you get when you're on the ships, what also anchors this is the Net Promoter Scores on our ships are well outside anything we've ever experienced. So we know our guests are very happy, and that the protocols are really are more behind the scenes and things that we promote. Which is also resulting in a very low level of cases on our ships, which has been really great. So the protocols are working, but the experience is being delivered, and people are extremely happy. Okay,
and in terms of customer trends, then so far, like we initially, as we were in the middle of this, people were predicting that people weren't going to go so far afield; they were going to stay closer to home and take more sort of local cruises, or Brits would maybe only go to Europe, but obviously we saw the US border open up for us this week. And so what are you seeing? Are you finding that's going back to normal trends, that people are keen to get out and travel anywhere, or what trends are you seeing?
Absolutely. Those, we made a lot of predictions early on, and it's remarkable how wrong we all were,
Yeah.
and how much it's changed. But there is still today a tendency to stay closer to home. Part of that is because of all the border restrictions. But this week, for example, we've eliminated the one between the UK and the US. And so it's moving fairly quickly in that direction. Probably one of the best indicators is that a little over a month ago, we opened up our new super round the world cruise for the Royal Caribbean International brand. Yeah. 274 days around the world. And we only opened it up to our Crown and Anchor Society members, and it was 70% booked within a week. Just amazing interest in that. So I think people are getting back, but it's very quick. As Jason said, we're seeing already 2019 level bookings for many of our things as we look into next summer.
Yeah, I tried to book on that, Richard, but Travel Weekly wouldn't let me have that much time off. So. All right, listen, I know I'm conscious of your time, gentlemen, and it's great to talk to you. We can talk about lots of things, but you did mention sustainability. It's such a big issue. We've got COP26 happening in Glasgow here at the moment. That whole issue is huge. Big pressures on the travel industry, but it's something that's at the forefront of your strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, very much. We need to continue delivering these incredible vacations, but at the same time, we need to transform our environmental footprint. And we have been for as long as I've been here, and I think even well before that, very focused on how we can reduce our impact on the environment. And we have made huge strides in doing that. And we continue on that journey to find ways to further reduce whether it's our carbon footprint or the emissions that we produce, but on the same side, working with others, other industries, other governments to find ways to solve things like alternative fuels, which is really something that's structurally has to occur. Clean energy has to occur in order for us to be able to close that gap. So it's a serious global topic. We are very serious about it, and we are continuing to focus and invest every which way we really can in order to close the gap.
And Jason, are you finding that your customers are increasingly worried about it?
I would say it's less so on the customer side today. We're focused on it because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. And obviously we have stakeholders that it's important for them, and we have stakeholders that need to step up, like in our supply chain and other areas, to help us deliver on these goals that we laid out here last week, the week before.
All right. Well, listen, I'm conscious of time, gentlemen. One last question for you, Richard. When you're not working as CEO anymore, will you still be taking your vacations on one of your ships in the group? And then which one will you choose? My goodness, it'll be very hard.
Well, that's a funny question. My family would certainly like it because, as you know, for me, taking a cruise has not up until now been much of a vacation. But I'm looking forward to the opportunity of doing more of that now that I won't have to work. I like the expression I used recently, which is my hands have been sore because I've been working so hard. Now my hands are going to be sore from clapping so hard.
Well, Lucy, his family, if you include his kids and their spouses and grandkids and so forth, it's about 18 people. So I'm just counting 18 people. He's got more time on his hands. So that means more revenue for the company. So I'm looking forward.
Exactly. Getting booked up now, Jason. Exactly.
I'll try and make it more successful.
All right. Well, listen, I'm so grateful for your time. Richard, you've been an inspiration. That's been one of the words that's been used in many sort of media reports about you stepping down. And thank you for your kindness to me all over the years that we've known each other. And you've always been so open with giving us interviews, and it's been fantastic. So I hope we do still stay in touch. And Jason, I look forward to building a great relationship with you and Travel Weekly and all of our readers. I mean, as I said earlier, we really look forward to you coming over to the UK and speaking to you at greater length.
Yep, thank you.
All right. So for now, thank you very much to Richard and to Jason. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you all.